Baby Alexander has two big sisters and a loving mum, Jess. But he never got to meet his dad. Paul was killed when he caught a thief stealing from his car. After such a senseless loss, the least his family deserves is justice. But they couldn't even get that.
Each day I wonder how and why he did this. Nothing, not justice, nor revenge, can reverse the wrong that you've done. We met each other when we were 17. He was just the best father. He'd read to them every night.
I have none whatsoever.
Paul Grapsis, father of two, soon to be three, was in the wrong place at the wrong time. On a night that will haunt Jessica forever, her husband took their dog Bailey for a walk as part of his normal night routine.
And then I heard the dog growling at 4 a.m. out the front of our house. I saw that Paul wasn't in the room, decided I better go and look at the back of the house, and found Paul lying between the car and the gutter in a pool of blood. I just remember yelling out, "No, no, 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 no."
Police and homicide detectives swarmed the back of Jessica and Paul's family home, none the wiser that it was Bailey Clifford who had left the father to die in September 2023.
You produced a knife and stabbed Mr. Grapsis 7 times.
Unarmed, defenceless, and Bailey was, at the time, engaged in criminal activity by rummaging through our car.
Only 2 people know exactly what interaction the pair had when Paul caught Clifford, then 18, breaking into his car before the thug fatally attacked Paul with a knife.
Go like this, Dilly.
To tell a 4 and a 2-year-old at the time that Daddy wasn't coming home.
We'll love you forever.
The fact that my children had to hear that at such a young age, it's not right and it's not fair.
The now 20-year-old was about to go on trial for murder when prosecutors accepted Clifford's offer to plead guilty to manslaughter.
The maximum penalty for manslaughter is 25 years imprisonment.
But this is what the Supreme Court of Victoria deemed justice.
I sentence you to imprisonment for 8 years and 6 months. I order that you serve 5 years before becoming eligible for parole.
Paul was stabbed 7 times. 7 times. And it certainly doesn't reflect a serious example of manslaughter that the judge claimed it was.
Nick Pappas, KC, is a former Victorian Chief Magistrate.
If you plead guilty, then you'll normally get a reduced sentence. Secondly, the age of the person, the offender, is very much an important issue, especially when they're only 18. Thirdly, any sort of pre-existing mental health issues, all of those factors get taken into account.
As well as telling the court Clifford had sustained a severe traumatic brain injury in a car accident, Justice Rita Inserti delved into his drug use.
You started to use methamphetamine, ice, at 15 and GHB at 18. And at the time of the offending, had a serious ice habit.
In the hours after his fatal attack, Clifford confessed to a friend.
He told you to call an ambulance, but you said you couldn't because you didn't want to get caught.
The inadequacy of the sentence is about the crime that was committed. This is the place where I found him.
What do we now know that Bailey Clifford was doing when your husband interrupted him?
Well, he was attempting to thieve into numerous vehicles, and then he was confronted when thieving in ours. As a first resort, Bailey Clifford chose to stab Paul 7 times.
Less than 5 months before killing Paul, Clifford got caught in eerily similar circumstances in this street in Belmont, just a 10-minute drive from Paul's home. He was searching through a car before brandishing a knife at his victim. The pair got in a scuffle, and in the process, a backpack fell, revealing several stolen cards, radios, and a piece of jewellery.
Clifford was convicted of 22 charges and was put on a 12-month community corrections order. In March the same year, he stole from cars in another Geelong suburb and tried to steal a vehicle. Weeks after the Belmont incident with a knife, Clifford broke into Cotton On's head office in North Geelong, stealing computers. When he was sentenced 3 months before killing Paul, Clifford reportedly told the magistrate, "I am going to turn my life around from this point."
Sentencing is about deterrence, rehabilitation.
But what kind of deterrent is 8.5 years?
Look, I accept that that's a good question, and all I can say is that at the moment at least the law is that that's about what you'd expect for this sort of offence.
Young people are carrying weapons and they're using them.
Jess is on a quest to get as many petition signatures as possible, lobbying for an appeal of Clifford's sentence, as well as tougher laws to apply to sentencing for knife attacks.
We also want mandatory minimum sentencing of a non-parole period of at least 10 years when it comes to knife crime.
In Victoria, an offender sentenced for manslaughter involving a coward punch faces a minimum penalty of 10 years prison before being eligible for parole.
You are legally better off getting out a knife and stabbing them instead.
With time served, Clifford could be out on parole within 4 years. Bailey Clifford attacked Paul when his wife was 6 months pregnant.
Paul would have never found out that we were having a boy because we always waited until the birth.
In the depths of grief, Jessica says her pregnancy with Alexander, now 1.5, became a fog.
Paul was gone, but the last of him, in a physical sense, was within me. In my heart, in a sense, I have forgiven Mr. Clifford for what he's done. But at the same time, I believe in justice to be served, and I don't feel as though this sentence shows any justice for Paul.
What an incredible woman you are, Jess. I'm not sure I could be as forgiving. The appeal must be lodged by the 14th of this month. If you'd like to support Jess's petition, scan the QR code or you can head to our website.